It was 1 year ago today that the entire East Coast was bracing for the impact of Superstorm Sandy. I remember vividly reporting to you live right here. We didn't know where it was going to hit, how hard it was going to hit, and what kind of damage it was going to bring. And, well, then very quickly we did see the devastation in New York, Long Island, Staten Island, and the Jersey Shore. We want to reflect on that, and with us right now is Derek Tabacco. He is the founder of Gaian Rescue, GaianRescue.org. And you're stationed out of that VFW post in Staten Island, New York. We know that Staten Island really got hit hard. Tell us, Derek, how are things now in Staten Island 1 year later?
Hi, guys. How you doing? Staten Island 1 year later, things are rough still. We've accomplished a lot as far as, mucking out homes and try to bring some immediate supplies to homeowners and residents. And now we're rebuilding homes, trying to get people back into their homes. But, the devastation was pretty bad, and there are still many people, thousands of people, over 3,000 people still displaced, renting apartments and still paying a mortgage on a home that they're not living in, or sleeping on friends and family's couches. There's still a handful of people in the hotels on Staten Island that can't get back into their homes. So the devastation is pretty bad, but, all the grassroots organizations are banding together and doing everything we can to rebuild people's homes. We're insulating and sheetrocking and doing mold remediation and try to get as many people back in as possible right now.
A lot of people would think 1 year after that things would be sort of back to normal. And what is the reason that you feel like there's still a lot of work to be done? Is it that it was just the devastation was that bad, or has the response in some way not been adequate?
Well, the devastation was obviously the worst we've ever seen here in Staten Island. And to be honest with you, there hasn't been any real money come to Staten Island to help people. Most people got the maximum you could receive from FEMA is $31,800. If you didn't get money back from your insurance company, there's no. Right now, the mayor has a great program going on, Mayor Bloomberg, called the Build It Back program, and that's where the money will be coming to fix people's homes. But it hasn't. It started, but they haven't actually done any homes yet. So once that program kicks up and they start, rebuilding people's houses, that's where the money that came down from the governor's office will be used to fix people's homes. But for the last year, it's been grassroots organizations like the Scylla Foundation, myself, Yellow Boots, rebuilding people's homes. And without the FEMA money or insurance money, there hasn't been any other money to, rebuild homes.
Now, Derek Tabacco is our guest, and he's the founder of Gaian Rescue. He's out there at Staten Island, and he was on the front lines. They're 100% grassroots, nonprofit, volunteer organization. You've been there helping people in Staten Island, but when you say that the federal money isn't coming in, and I read a report from Reuters earlier this week that, $47.9 billion was pledged, and only $5.2 billion of that money has actually made it to, on the ground there. I think people are outraged to hear that. I mean, we saw the president go. He flew out there. He hugged Chris Christie. It was in the middle of the presidential campaign, and his quote-unquote leadership at the time in trying to help people, that was part of why he got a whole lot of those last votes there for president. And now, a year later, barely 10% of the money has actually gotten into the hands of the people who need it?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's taking a long time. I know that our politicians here in Staten Island, Congressman Grimm, Senator Lanza, are working very hard to try to get the money to Staten Island. They've been speaking with all of the organizations on a regular basis, asking us what the needs are, and I'm not sure why the money isn't here yet, but I know that our faithful politicians here in Staten Island are working hard to get it here.
All right, so what is the greatest need for most people who still have not gotten back on their feet? What do they need more than anything else, and how can those who are listening to this interview help out?
People need to get back into their homes. So if, one of the biggest needs I feel is building supplies currently. If you don't want to make a monetary donation or a gift card, we've identified thousands of homes that need to be rebuilt. I can give you an address and tell you how many boards of sheetrock you could send over to the house. But building supplies is the main need right now in Staten Island. Sheetrock, insulation, flooring, roofing, kitchen cabinets, appliances. I mean, those are the hardest things to come by right now. Not to come by, but they're the hardest things for homeowners to pay for. So we've been working with different organizations to get those things donated. But, a set of kitchen cabinets and new appliances could run you a few $1,000s, and new sheetrock and flooring,
Sure.
and finished flooring and subflooring. So definitely building supplies are the biggest need on Staten Island right now.
All right, Derek Tabacco, thank you so much for joining us. The website is Guyon Rescue. That's pronounced or is spelled GUYON rescue.org. And if you do want to help people out, that's a good place to start. They're a volunteer, non-governmental organization. Thanks so much, Derek.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you. You know, listen, Derek is doing the Lord's work there, and he doesn't want to get political, so I didn't want to keep him on while I got political, because this drives me
go ahead.
absolutely insane. Brian, the American people are a good-hearted people.
Yes.
And conservatives are good-hearted people. We don't want people to suffer. If people, if you get hit by an act of God like this storm, we want to band together. We want to hold hands, and we want to dig deep, and we want to help the people who are suffering and need the help. And I feel like the American people, we were preyed upon politically by the president, by the governor, by the mayor up there during this superstorm, because they paraded in front of us all of the compassion. They paraded in front of us all of this assistance they were giving that only government could give. And now here we are a year later, reading from Reuters. This is from this weekend. And nobody knows where the money is. Grace Spencer, Assemblywoman from New Jersey, says, and I'm quoting, "Transparency is woefully lacking. We don't know where the money is. We know people have been approved for grants, but the money has not been distributed."
Wow.
President Joseph Pupello, president of Zone A New York, a nonprofit organization, says everyone is so fatigued, from the people who need help to the people who are helping. It's been hell. And all they do is fill out paperwork, and they can't get the money. Let me repeat it. Only $5.2 billion of the pledged $47.9 billion has actually gotten to the cities and states.
I remember another disaster. It happened down in New Orleans. And I remember another president where things weren't going quite like they hoped that they would.
Yeah.
Was absolutely lambasted by the media.
Destroyed.
Attacked. I mean, it really was probably the weakest point of George W. Bush's presidency. Where is the criticism of the current president, who apparently is not getting it done for the people who were, really impacted by Superstorm Sandy?
Because he got mission accomplished. So, George Bush's mission accomplished moment? President Obama's mission accomplished moment happened on November 7th because he won re-election. Mission was accomplished. We don't really need to focus on Superstorm Sandy and the devastation anymore. Certainly that's what it appears to be. It's absolutely infuriating. Well, 1 year later, I'm glad Derek Tabacco joined us, and I'm glad that he's down there on the ground doing this good work.